I'd like to call the August 14th meeting of the Monee Village Board. Could I please ask Reverend Pastor Tom Bauer to come up? Our invocation.
Let us pray. Creating God, as you first made the universe and said it was good, wisdom stood alongside. May wisdom guide tonight's agenda as we continue to discern the best use of resources for this community, for health and welfare, for sustenance and growth. Provide listening souls to better understand the needs of the community. Allow patience to pervade the room as differences are acknowledged, valued, and respected. We offer these prayers with thankfulness to you. Amen.
Thank you very much. Could you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Blue? Yes. Trustee Gonzalez? Trustee Horn? Here. Trustee Razik? Trustee Wilson? Here. Trustee Udris?
Here.
Okay, we'll move on to open to the public. Agenda items only. Please try to limit your, whatever you want to say, to 3 minutes. Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Matt.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Gonzalez? Yes. Trustee Horn? Yes. Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to the clerk's report. Denisha?
Thank you, Mayor Pop. Just a couple things. Wanted to make mention that we had our Will Grundy Clerks Association meeting today in Joliet, and Deputy Clerk Powell was sworn in as the president of the association. Also, prior to the nomination, we agreed to host the November meeting. So the November meeting for the Will and Grundy Clerks Association will be held here at the Village, and Brad Cole, who's the president of the Illinois Municipal League, will be here. That is on November 6th. Also, just wanted to mention about we having the Love Monee Love in Action that had just taken place. It was absolutely amazing being able to give back to the community and all of those that came about for help and assistance, just to be able to share love on everyone. It was absolutely amazing, and seeing everyone that came out to be a part of that was really great. So just wanted to share on that great thing we had in town. End of report.
I have no report tonight. We'll move on to the administrator's report. David?
Thank you, Mayor and Board. Good evening. Before you have item H1 on the agenda, and that is a request permission to bid road striping. And the Superintendent of Public Works is requesting that permission to go out for bid for road striping program. The bid will include thermoplast striping on the roadways, which has an increased longevity. The intent is to receive all bids before the end of August and have the work completed by the end of September 2019. So before you is the action requested is motion to authorize the Superintendent of Public Works to advertise for bids on the fiscal year 2020 road striping program.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Thank you. We'll be back before this body when those bids come in, and that concludes my report this evening.
Okay, we'll move on to the officials' report. Public Works, Trustee Horn.
Good evening, everyone. Here's our update for today. Public Work crews have completed crosswalk and stop bar painting in subdivisions and are currently in Country Meadows painting the no parking areas on the curbs. They will be working west through the subdivisions until this operation is completed. And our crews are also out chipping branches, so have your branches stacked, cut end to the street. And as a reminder, we will not take sticks or branches with roots and dirt attached. Tomorrow, Iroquois Paving will be starting the culvert replacement at Will Center Road and Court Street. Please use caution when approaching the intersection and watch out for crews working and traffic pattern changes until this operation is completed. If weather cooperates, we hope this will take 2 days to complete. End of report.
I have a question, Trustee Horn. When was the branch pickup, did you say?
It started yesterday, I believe, and they're still out there doing that.
So it's for 3 days usually, isn't it? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I just would like to make a comment about Public Works. I was asked to have a meeting. I should say I wanted to have a meeting with the department itself. And let me say that every department in this village works hard. That is our most physical crew as far as the Department of Public Works. I might say that I can recall a main break right off of Court Street in the middle of winter. They're down there getting wet and muddy trying to fix the break, and people are swearing at them while they're working. Well, this last couple of weeks, I've been hearing complaints about people standing around watching paint dry and what have you. It's really, this is all untrue stuff, and I wish the public would compliment some people once in a while. They are hardworking, they're doing their job, and I want to tell you, David Crizel, make sure of that. He's a great boss, and all our departments do operate that way. Okay, we'll move on to Parks and Recs. Trustee Wilson.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I would like to just piggyback off of Clerk Denise. It was an awesome event. Thank you for your participation, for those who attended and for those who actually volunteered. It was an awesome time and an awesome experience to be involved in. Personally, I ran the 6K, so it was a challenge, but we got her done. And also with the other events, it was a good time. I encourage everyone to participate in it in some capacity, to get involved in the community and give back instead of us always consuming or taking, to give back. Monee Fall Fest is set for September 6th, 7th, and 8th. So carnival rides, parade music, petting zoo, bingo, pancake breakfast, and we also have the Monee Alliance of Churches prayer service, which would be under the tent out here. Beanbags, craft and vendor booths, car show, special needs day, and more family fun. Registration forms for events are on the website and are available at Village Hall here. You can reference that to the villageofmonee.org website. Mega passes will be available for purchase starting Monday at the Village Hall for $45 to ride carnival rides all weekend long, which is, if you have more than one kid, it'll pay for itself in one day. So we are in need of volunteers. Once again, time to give back. For those who are looking to give back, we're looking for volunteers for the Fall Fest weekend. This is a good opportunity for anyone needing community service hours to get those, and be working in various 3-hour shifts throughout the whole weekend. The volunteer forms are available on our website, villageofmonee.org, or you can contact Diana at the Parks and Recreation Department at 708-534-8302. End of report.
Thank you, Trustee Wilson. We'll move on to Finance. Trustee Blue.
Thank you, Mayor. A short report from Finance tonight because we have other items under any old business. Our audit starts on Friday. The auditors will come in and start testing our IT controls how we disperse our cash, and also generally observe the village and its operations. They're going to be here for the whole day this coming Friday, and they'll be back again another time, but we expect that audit to wrap up probably towards the end of September. End of report.
Okay, we'll move on to Economic Development. Trustee Razak is not here. Is Kevin out in the audience? Kevin, anything you'd like to say?
Nothing tonight.
Nothing, okay. So we will then move on to Building Services. Trustee Udris.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, Building Service Department has been extremely busy. Our new Building Services Manager, Frank Giordano, has been getting settled into his new position. But rest assured that any inspections that have needed to be taken place have been well taken care of, including Thornton's, which if you're driving by and watching, tanks are in the ground now, getting ready to start pouring some concrete hopefully soon. Same with some of our other developments in town. Concrete's getting ready to start flowing with that, and inspections are keeping up with it, making sure that everything is done properly. End of report.
Okay, we'll move to Public Safety. Trustee Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've got a couple announcements and to just go over. Just last week, we had our first ever National Night Out held at the Monee Reservoir, and apparently over 400 people were in attendance and celebrated the community relations event. This is the first year that Monee Police Department has committed, to this, and it was in partnership with the Will County Forest Preserve Police, as well as 2 other neighboring police departments. And a good time, I assure you, was had by all. There was excellent food. The police dogs were out there, the bunch of park districts, and a lot of, I myself did the kayaking. So it was an absolutely beautiful event and a beautiful night to be out there. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. And the Midwest Police Security Conference was held this week in Tinley Park and was attended by Monee Police Department command staff. The event allows departments to view the latest in technology and policy resources. There are also classes that range from suicide and mental health response, as well as identifying human trafficking victims and online investigations, to name just a few. The event is free and sponsored by the Illinois Chief Association, so this did not cost our police department any to participate in it. And just those 3 seminars in and of itself is very well needed in this village. End of report.
Thank you, Heidi. The administrator would like to make a comment.
I apologize. Under my report, I errantly forgot to report that the mayor and I attended a special school board meeting last night, at which the board, the future forward presentation was made on the framework of a program to move the district forward into new areas and responsibilities of learning with all partnerships involved. And we attended that, and the school board unanimously passed that. So it was a huge step forward for the district, and this board should expect the superintendent, Dr. Caglianese, to appear and give a short presentation and explanation and potentially answer any questions at a very near future meeting. So just wanted to prep you for that.
And ask for a couple of volunteers from the village.
Yes, and they are asking for a couple of volunteers for the village to sit, I think 2 volunteers to sit on a couple of committees. So if you have some consideration for that, you have a little bit of time, and so thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the attorney's report. Larry?
Thank you, Mayor. I got one item for the board's consideration. We have an amendment to redevelopment agreement by and between the Village of Monee and Venture 3 LLC. Tom Kenrick is here tonight on behalf of Monee Venture LLC. Basically, what we're doing with this amendment is just indicating the new facility, which is on Cleveland Avenue, will be increased in size. Also, there's new project costs, which they are acknowledging, and there's a new site plan. From a village's standpoint, there is no further financial responsibility. We haven't changed anything. Our first agreement that we reached is still in effect with respect to our obligation for a payment to I was gonna say Tom Kenrick, you like that one, right? To Northern, but all they're doing, they are amending their plan, they're increasing the size, which is a benefit to us and a benefit to Northern. So tonight's before the board for review and consideration. Financially, it has not changed our position. It's just, again, changing the site plan and indicating that they're increasing the size of the building with a new tenant.
You need a motion on this?
Yes, I would recommend, if the board deems appropriate, a motion authorizing the mayor and the village clerk to sign the same on behalf of the village of Monee.
Mr. Mayor, prior to that, I just would like to say that it does have a very positive effect on the TIF agreement that was in place. It, because of the increased size of the facility, it should accelerate the payment of the TIF agreement that was ultimately approved by this board, so it will be paid off earlier, and that's a positive thing for the TIF. So,
Could I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
A second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I do have a question. Does this impact the build-out of Cleveland Avenue at all?
no, Cleveland Avenue is still, Monee Venture 3 is still facilitating the build-out of Cleveland Avenue up to the north property line of the future Public Works site.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to old business. Number one on there is the consideration of repealing ordinance 1924, the motor fuel tax.
Thank you, Mayor. As you know, we reviewed the ordinance that was passed in one reading at the board meeting, and we also attended a meeting of the whole where the motor fuel tax was an item on that agenda as well. It was discussed in depth, and we've since learned, of course, that Will County are discussing an additional potential gas hike. I'm asking today for a motion to authorize the attorney to repeal and replace this ordinance number 1924 with an ordinance as it was before we had that vote. So I'm asking a motion for that.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion. Yes, first? Oh,
Well, she made a
I was
motion.
asking, can
I
I
thought
make
you
the
made the
motion? If
motion.
okay, so I'll make that motion. You second it.
and I'll second.
Discussion. I can't help saying that I'm thoroughly against repealing it. Our roads are in dire need. We have an opportunity here to put $300 and something thousand into our road program. And very honestly, I don't know what I shouldn't even enter this, but I haven't seen this 19 cents from this state going up at the gas stations. And it's been a while. It's been in effect. So they know something we don't, like they're gouging us, whatever it might be, okay? But I just want to be on record that I'm totally against this. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, and clerk, you can put this on the record that the mayor and I agree on something, so.
Write that down.
A historic day. But the reason I voted for this, and I've articulated this before, is that this is a choice for our residents as opposed to some of our property tax levies, which are required. You don't have a choice for that. So people can choose to patronize the Monee fueling centers. They can choose not to. Most of those trucks that come down 57, they have less of a choice. And because the Monee fueling centers are quite convenient for them, we will take advantage of that. We can take advantage of that and earn some extra funds, which I know this was not dedicated, I guess the thought was that this money would be dedicated to road improvement and road improvement. So that has not been put into ordinance. I would encourage us to do that. So to keep this 3 cents and to have that designated for the roads. And parenthetically, I would say, if for some reason this motor fuel tax is repealed, we still have a month of motor fuel tax to collect from the gas stations for the month that it was in effect.
Any other discussion? If not,
Yes, I would like to say something. I originally did vote yes for this. Since then, having learned that portions of that 19-cent increase will be coming to the village, depending on the charts that you look at, depending on who you talk to, anywhere from increasing what we collected last year by 70,000 up to as much as about 450,000 if you include the grant. I think at this time, I'm ready to repeal this back to the 3 cents. I think that we can look at this again when we sit down in December to do the budget to see where we're at. But we do have new money coming in, and I think right now we need to take, even if it's a small piece, we need to take something off of people's backs, and I just can't support keeping the 3 cents right now.
any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Wilson?
Just so we have clarity, this is for the appeal. Repeal. Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes to repeal.
Trustee Blue?
Yes, to repeal.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
No.
Okay, we'll move on to the next item. Discussion regarding video gaming ordinance. Larry, I'd like you to make some comments, if you don't mind.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I don't mean to put you on the spot
No, that's
like
okay.
that, but
No, I believe the mayor asked Trustee Blue to form a committee to take a look at this ordinance. There were several meetings that transpired in the last, I think, 3 or 4 weeks. We looked at other villages, how to address this issue. I think the issue was, are there too many gaming licenses? And I think the consensus was from the committee, and from what I understand the other chairman, is that there are too many. So we look at Orleans, how they did theirs, and I think the consensus is to try to limit the number of gaming licenses to what they have presently. I believe there's, top of my head, 8 establishments that have them. So I think the consensus was to try to pass an ordinance to adopt a limitation on the number of gaming licenses that will be issued. I did indicate, and Mr. Wallace had a good idea, that there's maybe 2 ways of approaching this. One would be to draft an ordinance strictly addressing the licensing of gaming facilities. That might be a panacea for us in the respect it would be very clear and who would be eligible to receive it if the board wants to give one out. The second way of approaching it would be through some type of liquor license amendment, incorporating what we're trying to accomplish. So I believe what may be appropriate is authorize myself to draft ordinances for the committee's review, what we just talked about, to take a look at it at hopefully the next board meeting. But the crux of both ordinances would be to limit the number of gaming licenses that could be issued. I think I summarized it.
any other comments?
Well, Mr. Mayor, as you did task the Finance Committee, and as we met for 3 Mondays in a row to discuss this, we did discuss it at length. We did come up with different options. It was over a great deal of time and effort on the Finance Committee's part, and truly was well attended. I was thrilled that so many trustees turned up for it. That we did make a recommendation, as you know. I sent it to you in advance with the notes, as I shared with all of the trustees. And our attorney and I talked briefly about suggesting he drafts 2 ordinance for the review. One was to follow the recommendation of the committee, which was when a new business requests a liquor license, then they have to be in business for 12 months before they can request gaming to install gaming machines. And that was to make sure that new business coming to the village were here more as a traditional business versus a gaming cafe or something like that. So we wanted to make sure that their business was predominantly not gaming. It was something else. And then the other ordinance we were going to ask to the attorney to draft would include the gaming license for review, if that's correct, Larry. So do we need a motion to do that?
Yes, ma'am. We need a motion authorizing myself to draft the ordinances pursuant to our discussions. I will be out of town for 10 days, but I will try to have them for the board's review.
Okay, so I'll make a motion for our attorney to draft both of those ordinances. Can I do 2 in 1? Yeah. Both of the ordinances as we've discussed for review by the board.
Second.
Is there a second?
Right here.
Okay. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Go ahead on this one, Janet.
So this, the item under the Mavericks program came to the Finance Committee because a letter was handed to the Finance Committee by a member of the Mavericks program asking for us to reconsider the way the concessions is made up and some other considerations within the program. Obviously, the Finance Committee can't consider all of that, so we did ask Trustee Wilson, who is trustee for Parks and Rec, if he would take that on with a view to looking at the current setup with the Mavericks program. I understand that the village now runs the concessions stand, and the village directs and drives the sale of concessions, and that's hurting the Mavericks. I'm repeating what they're saying. I'm not giving my opinion. That's hurting their revenue generation because they have a lot of officials to pay. So we asked Trustee Wilson if he would consider, speaking with them and then perhaps moving forward with that. I'm going to hand it over to Trustee Wilson now.
Yes, Janet's informed me, as we all have been informed with Melissa, the finance director for the Monee Mavericks. At this time, I would ask time to confer with the Parks and Recreation Committee so that we can review the Maverick football program and so that we can report back to the board with the committee's findings.
That's perfect.
End of report.
Now, with that, though, have you requested some statements from them on their finances for the last few years? And
yes, and she
items?
said that she's going to provide 10 of those items by the end of this week.
Okay.
So we'll be looking at it. That way we can set up meetings
Very good.
for the committee.
Okay. Okay, there is no new business. Is there any, oh, I'm sorry, is there any other old business? Sometimes we don't put them on here. Okay, new business. Is there any new business? If not, we'll move on to open to the public. Non-agenda items, anything you'd like to talk about, please come forward.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Detloff. I just wanted to thank you all for opening up the Village Forced Use for Love Monee. I wanted to give you guys an update on what we did. As Trustee Wilson, we had a 6K on July 27th. We had 50 runners, followed by a shredding event right after that, and we shredded 6,500 pounds of paper, which was an awesome event. So we had 32 service projects completed throughout the week. We fed 320 families. We gave away 30 haircuts. We collected 20 units of blood, 14 dental cleanings, and then we also had some clothing and housewares that we're also giving away. And then our cookouts, we gave a little bit under 400 hamburgers and 200 hot dogs with a concert at the end, and it seemed like there were lots of kids there, and we had a great turnout. So we just wanted to thank you very much for allowing us to have it here and for all the resources. Thank you.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
Mhm, thank you.
And also Trustee Horn, thank you for putting that band together.
Any other open to the public? If not, we're going to move into executive session. We'll be dealing with collective bargaining, 5-1LC, 120/2, C2, and 5-ILC, I'm sorry, S, 120/2, C11. That's pending litigation. So, like a motion to move into executive session.
I'll make the motion.
And a second? Roll call, please.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Thank you all for coming. It could be a little while in our last year.